You've been taught to seek approval like a dog waiting for a treat. Be nice, be liked. Make everyone comfortable even if it means you betray yourself. Stop. That's weakness. That's submission. And that's exactly why you're not respected, not desired, and not dominant. The world doesn't reward the agreeable. It doesn't hand out power to the polite. It follows the man who doesn't ask for approval because he doesn't need it. Look around you. Men are softer than ever. They bend over backwards to be accepted. They shrink their voice, their presence, their masculinity to fit into a world that rewards obedience instead of strength. You've confused acceptance with power. You think being liked means you're winning. You're not. You're being controlled. You don't need permission to lead. What you need is silent, undeniable dominance. And here's the hard truth. You apologize for speaking. You over-explain every decision. You walk on eggshells, terrified of not being liked. That's not confidence. That's not masculinity. That's survival mode. And survival mode is where men go to die slowly. Approval seeking is the leash wrapped around your neck. If you don't cut it now, you'll live your whole life tamed. Number 1, understand the cost of approval seeking. Let's start by ripping off the mask. Approval seeking isn't kindness. It isn't humility. It's not about being a good guy. It's emotional dependence. It's the behavior of a man who's forgotten his power. And the worst part, it's dressed up to look like virtue, when in reality, it's just fear wearing a friendly smile. Let's call it what it is. It's weakness. Approval seeking is what happens when you hand over your masculinity in exchange for temporary comfort. You over-apologize for things that don't require an apology. You avoid conflict, even when the truth needs to be said. You look around the room desperate for a nod of approval before you act. And worst of all, you wait for permission to be yourself. Do you understand how dangerous that is? Every time you seek approval, you send a clear message to the world. I don't trust myself. I don't value my judgment. I need someone else to tell me I'm enough. And guess what happens next? You become invisible. Nobody respects a man who tiptoes through life, asking, is this okay? Respect is earned through certainty, through presence, through unapologetic action. If you're constantly trying to please, you will never be seen as a leader. You'll be overlooked, talked over, and ignored, because the world assumes you're not ready to lead. You lose respect, from women, from other men, from yourself. Every time you silence your voice to avoid offending someone, you kill a piece of your integrity, and slowly your sense of self evaporates. But that's not even the worst part. The worst part is this: you give your power away. You hand it over to strangers, to social media, to bosses who don't respect you, to women who don't desire you, all because you're terrified of rejection. Approval seeking is slavery. You become chained to the opinions of others. Your worth rises and falls with their reaction. And that is a recipe for a weak, anxious, forgettable life. So what do? You break the cycle. Step 1. Journal every moment you seek approval. For 1 week, carry a notebook or use your phone. Every time you hesitate to speak up, every time you wait for a reaction before making a move, every time you bite your tongue to avoid discomfort, write it down, not to judge yourself, but to expose the patterns. You can't change what you won't confront. Step 2. Identify your emotional triggers. Ask yourself, what am I afraid will happen if I speak my truth? Who do I fear disappointing? When did I first start fearing rejection? Most approval seeking starts with childhood conditioning. Maybe you had to perform to be loved. Maybe you got punished for speaking your mind. Fine, that was then. This is now. You're a man. You're responsible for reprogramming yourself. Step 3. Go 48 hours without explaining yourself. Starting today, stop justifying your decisions. Don't explain why you said no. Don't over-clarify your intentions. Don't fill the silence with "I just wanted to." Say what you mean. Then shut up. You'll feel uncomfortable. That's good. That's the edge you've been avoiding. That's growth. The path to silent dominance begins here. With awareness, with accountability, with the decision to stop living for the applause of others. This first step is about reclaiming your identity, because a man who constantly seeks approval has no identity. He's just a mirror, reflecting whatever the world wants to see. So make the choice right now. No more mirrors, no more begging for acceptance. You're not here to be liked. You're here to lead, and leaders don't ask for permission. Number 2. Build internal validation and emotional independence. Here's a brutal truth. Most men never learn. If your confidence depends on applause, it's not confidence, it's dependency, and dependency makes you fragile. One insult, one rejection, one silent room, and suddenly you crumble. That's because you've built your identity on a foundation you don't control. You've made your value conditional. Conditional on what others think. Conditional on praise, on attention, on being accepted. But let me ask you this. What happens when the applause stops? Exactly. You fall apart. Internal validation is the cure. It's the ability to know deep in your bones that you're enough, even when nobody's watching, even when you're criticized, even when you're doubted, even when the world gives you nothing but silence. It's not arrogance, it's not delusion, it's certainty. It's a quiet belief in your own value that doesn't rise and fall with public opinion. You want to be dominant? You want to be a man who moves through the world with power? Then you better stop measuring yourself with other people's rulers. You better stop giving strangers the power to dictate how you feel about yourself. Because here's what happens when you stop chasing approval and start validating yourself. You walk differently. You speak with more weight. You make decisions faster, clearer, and with zero hesitation. And people feel it. You go from needy to grounded, from reactive to composed, from forgettable to magnetic. But here's the key. You need to shift your source of worth from external opinions to internal standards. That means your self-worth is based on your own code, not someone else's reaction, not social media, not your parents, not your boss, not women. You build a personal standard, and you live by it, period. So here's how you start. Step 1. Daily win and decision journal. Every night, write down 3 wins from your day, no matter how small. Maybe you stuck to your workout. Maybe you said no to something that drained you. Maybe you simply got out of bed and attacked your routine. Then, write down 3 decisions you made for you, not to please others, not to fit in, but because it aligned with your path, your mission, your truth. Over time, this rewires your brain to recognize your own approval as the only one that matters. Step 2. Replace the question. Every time your brain asks, "What will they think of me?" immediately replace it with, "Does this align with my principles?" You don't make moves based on fear. You make moves based on purpose. That's how you develop clarity. That's how you build backbone. If it aligns with your code, do it. If it doesn't, don't. Simple. Step 3. Practice 1 hour of daily silence. 1 hour a day. No phone, no music, no noise, just you and your thoughts. Why? Because the reason most men can't validate themselves is simple. They don't know themselves. They've never sat alone long enough to hear their real voice. Silence reveals what you've been running from. And once you face it, you become dangerous. Because now your thoughts are your own. Your values are your own. Your power is your own. No noise, no neediness, no approval required. Let me leave you with this. A man who validates himself is unshakable. He doesn't flinch when criticized. He doesn't beg to be seen. He doesn't shrink in the face of rejection, because his worth is not up for debate. It's already decided by him. And that right there is what makes him dominant. Quietly, silently, unstoppably. Number 3. Master the power of silence. Here's something no one taught you growing up. Real power doesn't shout. It doesn't beg to be seen. It doesn't need to dominate the room with noise. Real power is silent. It's calm. It's composed. And when it enters a room, it's felt. The weak talk too much. They ramble. They explain. They justify. They seek reassurance through words. It's nervous energy, and it screams one thing: I need your approval. But a dominant man, He speaks once, he means it. Then he shuts the hell up. You don't need to convince people. You don't need to prove yourself. You don't need to explain every thought that crosses your mind. In fact, the less you say, the more people listen when you finally speak. Silence creates mystery. People start to wonder what you're thinking. They become curious, intrigued, maybe even intimidated. Why? Because they can't read you. And what people can't read, they respect. Silence builds confidence. When you're silent, you're not seeking validation. You're not trying to fill awkward space. You're comfortable in stillness. That tells the world, I'm grounded. I don't need to entertain you. I don't need to be liked. I'm here on my terms. And most of all, silence creates authority. Think of the most commanding leaders, fighters, CEOs, warriors. They don't run their mouths, they observe. They calculate. Then when the moment's right, they strike. With precision, with clarity, with purpose. That's dominance. Now let's break this down into actions. Step 1. Pause 2 seconds before speaking. In every conversation, pause. Just 2 seconds. Before you answer. Before you react. Before you jump in. This pause forces you to respond with intention, not emotion. And more importantly, it makes people lean in. Your words will carry weight because they weren't just tossed out. They were measured, delivered, controlled. Step 2. Replace emotional rants with grounded statements. Let the emotional guys whine. Let the boys complain. You stay centered. You speak calmly, firmly, with presence. Instead of, I can't believe you did that. That's so disrespectful. Say that doesn't work for me. Don't do it again. Short, direct, powerful. No emotion, no apology, no need for drama. Just boundaries, asserted with composure. Step 3. Train non-reactivity. Someone pushes your buttons, insults you, tries to provoke you. Say nothing. Just watch. Observe their behavior without responding. This does 2 things. It shows you're in control. They're not. It unnerves them. Because most people are used to emotional reactions. When you say nothing, you create tension. And tension, when wielded correctly, is dominance. Exercise. 1 day of necessary speech only. Here's your challenge. Go 1 full day speaking only when necessary. No small talk, no filler, no social fluff. Say what needs to be said. Nothing more. At the end of the day, journal what you noticed. How did people react to your silence? What did you observe in others you hadn't before? How did it feel to sit in your own presence, without trying to perform? What you'll find is this. The less you speak, the more powerful you become, because silence is a weapon. It sharpens your focus, it demands respect, and it forces the world to lean toward you, instead of the other way around. So master it, control your voice, control your space, and you'll begin to walk through life like a man who doesn't need to say much, because everything about him already speaks. Number 4, create a physically dominant presence. You can talk all day about mindset and confidence, but here's the truth. Most men ignore, masculinity is physical. The way you walk into a room, the way you stand, the way your body looks, moves and holds tension, it all speaks louder than your voice ever could. Because before anyone hears a word you say, they see you, and what they see tells them everything they need to know about who you are. Weak posture, soft body, darting eyes, jittery movements, that's not dominance, that's prey behavior. But a man who trains, a man whose body radiates strength, whose presence feels unshakable, he doesn't need to raise his voice. He doesn't need to prove a thing. His presence says it all. Your body is a walking resume of your discipline. If it's soft, unfocused, and weak, it shows you've neglected yourself. If it's sharp, controlled, and powerful, it shows you're dangerous, capable, not just of lifting weights, but of leading, protecting, and enduring. Your goal is simple. Look like a man who's been through hell and chose to stay standing. Let's break this into action. Step 1. Build your body. 45 minutes a day. No excuses. This isn't about becoming a bodybuilder. It's about becoming a man of discipline. Because the iron doesn't lie. You either show up and put in the work, or you don't. and the results don't care about your excuses. Train every day, 45 minutes minimum. Lift weights, do calisthenics, run. Whatever it is, do something hard, something that forces you to breathe through discomfort. Because every rep isn't just physical, it's a message to your mind. I don't negotiate with weakness. You want silent dominance? Start by mastering the one thing you'll never escape: your own body. Step 2, posture dominance. Chin up, chest out, feet planted. You don't need a gym to change your posture. You just need awareness. Most men walk around hunched over, like life defeated them. Eyes down, shoulders caved in, feet shuffling. That posture tells the world exactly how you see yourself: insignificant, afraid, passive. Fix it now. Chin up. You're not hiding from the world anymore. Chest out. Open posture signals confidence and presence. Feet planted. Stand like you belong in the room, because you do. When you enter a space, command it. Own your area. Don't shrink. Don't apologize. You're not asking to exist. You're asserting yourself. Step 3. Walk slower. Breathe deeper. Maintain eye contact. Speed is anxiety. When you rush, you signal that you're uncomfortable, insecure, or desperate to get somewhere else. Slow it down. Move with purpose. Walk like a man who owns his time. Breathe from your diaphragm. Deep, calm breaths are how warriors prepare for battle. If you're shallow breathing, your mind is in panic mode. But when you breathe with power, you carry power. And eye contact, that's your unspoken test. Most men can't hold it. They flinch. They look away. They fear being seen. You don't. When you look someone in the eye, you say, "I see you, and I'm not afraid of being seen myself." That's rare. That's powerful. That's dominance. If your body screams discipline, you don't have to say a word. You don't need to flex. You don't need to talk about your grind. You don't need to explain how serious you are. Your body says it all, because real men, they don't advertise their strength. They embody it. So stop waiting to be respected. Become a man who demands it with every step, every rep, every breath. No noise, no bravado, just presence. And presence is built in the gym, forged through pain, and revealed in how you carry yourself through the world. Number 5, lead through actions, not words. If you want to be respected, if you want to be followed, if you want to dominate, stop talking, start doing. We live in a world where men run their mouths, make empty promises, post quotes they don't live by, and talk about their goals more than they actually chase them. That's not leadership. That's noise. You don't lead by sounding impressive. You lead by showing up consistently. You lead by discipline, by execution, by results. You want to know the truth. No one cares about your plans. They care about what you build, what you deliver, what they can see, feel, and depend on. A real man leads quietly. He doesn't announce his moves. He makes them. And by the time others notice, it's already too late to catch up. Let's break down exactly how you become this man. 1. Ruthless discipline. Discipline is the foundation of leadership, not motivation, not hype. Discipline. It means you do what needs to be done, especially when you don't feel like it. You don't look for comfort. You don't wait to feel ready. You show up every day. No excuses, no explanations. This is what separates leaders from talkers. Leaders suffer in silence. They don't need validation. They just keep grinding, while everyone else looks for shortcuts. 2. Integrity in your word. A man is only as strong as his word. If you say you'll do something, do it. Every time. No one respects a man who breaks promises, even small ones. You said you'd hit the gym at 6 a.m. Be there. You told your team you'd handle that task. Handle it. You promised yourself you'd quit porn, sugar, or distractions. Keep that promise, or stop calling yourself a man. When your word becomes law to yourself and others, you become unstoppable. 3. Quiet execution. Stop narrating your life like a podcast no one asked for. You don't need to announce what you're doing. You don't need to explain why. You just need to do it. Let your actions speak for themselves. Let your consistency do the talking. Because in the end, people follow results, not potential, not promises, not personality. Results, action steps to build silent leadership. Step 1. Set a daily power list. Every morning, write down 3 non-negotiable tasks, not 10, not a vague to-do list. 3 clear mission-critical tasks that move you forward. Then destroy that list, relentlessly. This builds momentum, and momentum builds dominance. Step 2. Track and measure weekly. Every week sit down with brutal honesty. What did you say you'd do, and did you do it? Where did you slack? Where did you lie to yourself? Track your wins, your losses, your patterns. If you don't measure it, you can't master it. Step 3. Stop promising. Start delivering. No more "I'm gonna." No more "next week I'll." That energy is weak. It's approval seeking in disguise. Just shut your mouth and get to work. Let the results speak. Let the transformation speak. Let your evolution make the noise. Code of conduct for silent leaders. Never brag. The man who knows doesn't need to talk about it. Never gossip. If you talk about other men, you'll never rise above them. Never explain moves you haven't made. Let your execution validate your vision. Follow this code, and you'll be unshakable. Move in silence. Let success echo. You don't need the world to clap for you. You don't need applause to stay committed. You don't need anyone to believe in you. You believe in yourself. Because when you lead through action, when your discipline is unbreakable, when your execution is relentless, the world doesn't need an explanation. It feels your presence, it sees your results, and it follows without question. So talk less, do more, lead by example, move in silence, let success echo. Number 6, eliminate approval loops from your environment. You could be doing everything right, lifting hard, speaking less, leading with action. But if your environment is built around approval loops, you'll stay stuck, not because you're weak, but because you're surrounded by weakness that keeps pulling you back in. Let's make this clear. You are not above your environment. If your day is filled with people begging for likes, with content that worships fame, clout, and fake success, with conversations that revolve around gossip, trends, and validation, you're in a cage, a mental cage that keeps your masculinity soft, your ambition muted, and your power dependent on what other people think. That's not how kings are made. That's how pawns live. It's time to burn that approval-driven world to the ground and build your own. What is an approval loop? An approval loop is any system, online or offline, where your worth is measured by external feedback. Did they like your post? Did they compliment your outfit? Did your friends agree with your decision? This is emotional slavery. You're handing over your self-worth to the masses, letting the algorithm or the opinions of boys who haven't built anything decide who you are. Approval loops are subtle, addictive, dangerous. They reward you just enough to keep you coming back, but they strip you of everything that makes you a man: independence, certainty, and mission. It's time to kill them. Step 1. Clean your digital diet. Look at your feed right now. Ask yourself, does this make me stronger or smaller? Unfollow anyone and anything that feeds insecurity, vanity, or comparison. Delete influencers who flex but don't teach. Remove every single account that makes you feel like you're behind, not enough, or missing out. Your digital world is a mirror. If it's filled with fake strength, filtered success, and shallow content, that's what you'll absorb. Curate strength. Follow builders, fighters, quiet killers who execute, not talk. Let your feed be filled with challenge, not comfort. Step 2. Audit your circle. Look at the men around you, not what they say, not how they dress, but how they live. Are they mission-driven? Do they push you? Do they call out your weakness or enable it? If you're surrounded by guys who play for clout, who chase likes, who seek attention instead of mastery, you're not in a brotherhood. You're in a daycare. Here's a truth most won't tell you. If you want to rise, you have to cut people loose. Not out of hate, out of vision. You're not better than them, but you're not going where they're going. Make space. Distance creates perspective, and once you're away from the noise, you'll start to hear something else, your own voice. Step 3. Choose solitude or strength. Spend 80% of your time either in solitude, where you can think, reflect, and build, or around high-value men who sharpen your edge. That's it. You don't need more friends. You don't need to be social for the sake of it. You need a mission and the environment that fuels it. Solitude teaches you to stand on your own. Brotherhood with strong men teaches you to rise together. Everything else is noise. Build a kingdom. Don't beg for entry into someone else's. Most men spend their lives trying to get a seat at someone else's table. They shapeshift. They people please. They adjust their values just to be accepted. Screw that. A man of silence and dominance builds his own table, and when he does, it's not for validation. It's because he knows who he is, where he's going, and who's coming with him. No more begging for approval. No more clinging to environments that don't serve you. No more soft circles, weak screens, or fake networks. You're the architect now. Build your kingdom, brick by brick, habit by habit, decision by decision, and when the world looks up, surprised at who you've become, you won't need to say a word, because real dominance doesn't ask for applause. It builds legacies. Stop waiting to be picked. Stop trying to be liked. You weren't born to be agreeable. You were born to lead. But leadership doesn't start with noise. It starts in silence. It starts with discipline, with doing the work when no one's watching. You don't need to chase attention. You don't need to convince anyone of your value. Prove it. Every rep, every task, every decision. Make your presence so undeniable that the world has no choice but to notice. And when they finally do, you won't need to say a word. Your results will speak for you. If you're done chasing approval, if you're done shrinking to be accepted, and if you're ready to become the man you were meant to be, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below. No more approval. This is a movement, a brotherhood built on strength, silence, and relentless action. Men who don't speak to be heard. They act to be respected. Your silence will become your weapon. Your discipline will become your power. Start now. Start quietly, and let the world feel you coming.